In the 8th century BCE, the Italian peninsula was not yet the center of a great empire. Small tribes lived scattered among hills and valleys, and simple villages dotted the landscape. No one could have imagined that from this quiet region, a power would rise that would reshape the course of world history. The story of Rome begins with legend. According to myth, twin brothers Romulus and Remus were abandoned on the banks of the Tiber River. They were expected to die, but fate intervened. A she-wolf, as the legend tells, found the infants and nursed them. Later, a shepherd discovered the boys and raised them as his own. When they grew into strong young men, the brothers decided to build a city of their own. But ambition turned into rivalry. A bitter conflict over leadership ended in tragedy. Romulus killed Remus. In 753 BCE, Romulus founded the city of Rome. For the Romans, this date became sacred, the birth of their civilization. At first, Rome was little more than a modest settlement, yet its location was ideal. The Tiber River allowed trade to flourish, while surrounding hills offered natural protection. Rome slowly expanded, trading with neighboring tribes and sometimes fighting them. Each victory strengthened the young city. Early Rome was ruled by kings. These rulers built roads, temples, and defensive walls, laying the foundations of an organized society. But over time, the Romans grew suspicious of absolute power. Their final king, Tarquin the Proud, became notorious for his tyranny. His cruelty pushed the people beyond their limits. In 509 BCE, the citizens revolted and expelled the king. Rome was declared a republic, a revolutionary idea that would influence governments for centuries. Power would no longer belong to a single ruler, but to elected officials. At the heart of the republic were two consuls, leaders chosen to govern together. Each could restrain the other, ensuring that no individual could dominate the state. For the Romans, law and civic duty were sacred principles. The early republic, however, faced constant danger. Surrounded by hostile neighbors, Rome fought for survival. These struggles forged a disciplined and resilient army. Roman soldiers were not professional warriors at first, they were citizens defending their homeland. Discipline became legendary. Orders were obeyed without hesitation. Ancient accounts describe commanders enforcing strict punishments to maintain unity, sometimes even sacrificing personal friendships for the sake of order. For Rome, discipline meant survival. As Rome secured its borders, it shifted from defense to expansion. Gradually, it established control over the entire Italian peninsula. With each conquest came wealth, confidence, and growing ambition. But a far greater challenge awaited. Across the Mediterranean stood Carthage, one of the most powerful trading empires of the ancient world. Alarmed by Rome's rise, Carthage became its greatest rival. Their competition erupted into a series of conflicts known as the Punic Wars, among the most dramatic wars in history. One figure would become legendary: Hannibal, the brilliant Carthaginian commander. In a daring move that stunned the ancient world, he marched his army, including war elephants, across the Alps into Italy. The sight alone shocked Roman forces. For years, Hannibal defeated Roman armies in devastating battles. At times, Rome's destruction seemed inevitable. Fear spread, but surrender was never considered. Instead, Rome adapted. It rebuilt its forces and changed its strategy. Eventually, the Roman general Scipio carried the war directly into Carthaginian territory. In the decisive final battle, Carthage was defeated. This victory transformed Rome into the dominant power of the Mediterranean world. Yet triumph brought new problems. Governing vast territories proved difficult. Wealth poured into Rome, but inequality deepened. Political tensions intensified. The Republic began to weaken from within. In this unstable era, a remarkable figure emerged: Julius Caesar. A brilliant general and skilled politician, Caesar conquered Gaul and returned to Rome covered in glory. The people celebrated him as a hero. The Senate, however, feared his growing power. Caesar moved decisively in his struggle for control. Civil war erupted. After a series of victories, he became the most powerful man in Rome. But his dominance alarmed many. In 44 BCE, Caesar was assassinated by senators. According to tradition, upon seeing his friend Brutus among the attackers, he uttered the famous words, "You too?" His death did not save the Republic. Instead, it plunged Rome into further conflict. These wars would ultimately end the Republican system and open the path to a new era, the age of the Roman Empire.